physically dominated from start to finish. You had a lot of mistakes. You are still inconsistent on offense, and it showed. From start to finish today, you got your ass beat. And guess what? You earned it. And you know what's funny? What is so incredible about this is that it's not just the fact that you lost this game. Hey, babe. I've got about 130 people tuned in right now to my call.
Wait, what?
I'm home right now. I've got 134 people that are wanting to hear my analysis of this game.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right, love you.
You do you, babe. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My bad, guys. Girlfriend. Guys, guys, your offense is freaking broken. You are broken. And you know what's the worst part about this loss? It's not the fact that it's been 16 straight years that you've beaten Vandy up until today. It's not even that, guys. It's not. It's the fact that you knew what they were going to do. You knew that they were going to play time of possession, and you know what they did? They kept the football for 35 minutes compared to your 2 minutes or 24 minutes. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I mean, next week, you got to go play another offense that's probably better in Missouri. You got to go on the road to that one too. You have a lot of things that you have to clean up, and a lot of things that, if we're being real with each other, man, this is bad. The state of South Carolina right now, it's not really good. But nonetheless, guys, we are live. This is South Carolina Live at the Voice of College Football for our post-game show. I am your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Everybody do us a favor. You know what to do. Every post-game show brought to you by our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. Going over to UnderdogFantasy.com or go download the Underdog Fantasy app on your Apple or Android device. Use that promo code VOCFBSC to get yourself a spot. And when you bet your first $5 lineup, you will get a $50 in free bets. So going over to Underdog Fantasy, download it on your Apple or Android device. Use my promo code VOCFBSC for a free $5. And when you play that first $5 or more lineup, you will get a $50 free bets. No purchase necessary, not available in all states. Must be 21 or older to use. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Also is brought to you by our good friends at the Voice of College Football website. Going over to vocfb.com/shop. Go on over. Use my promo code VOCFB Gamecocks to get yourself a nice welcome discount on all things VOCFB merch. Let's get into the game, guys. You know what we do every week. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let's turn on the bell notifications and continue to support us here at Voice of College Football. If you are watching us on Twitter, hit the follow button. Follow me on X at Lucas Hill SEC. You know the drill. You know what to do. Y'all know what we do every single week. We got 372 of you right now up in here, and we're only about 5 minutes in. So I need you to do me a favor. Share the stream. Tell 5 Gamecocks of fans that are around you to come on in and tune in. Let's get into the game. First play of the drive. First drive of the game. And you know what they did? They went 9 plays in 5 minutes and 22 seconds. And they basically tore you up, man. They tore you up. You would give up big play after big play after big play and help them set up in good field position. By the way, these long down and distance plays, what the hell is Clayton White playing in? Is he playing in freaking... Are we playing so soft in the middle that we give up these long-ass conversions? Because we had 2nd and 13s, 3rd and longs, 2nd and longs. It seemed like Vandy was moving right down the field on this defense. You go 9 plays. You give a 17-yard pass to Eli Stowers. Eli Stowers ate you alive. Diego Pavia pass to Eli Stowers. 3rd and 6. Cedric Alexander runs for 8 for a first down. Cedric Alexander run for 4. Diego Pavia to Trey Richardson for 7. Diego Pavia to Martell Height for 18. Diego Pavia on the wheel route, I believe, to Cedric Alexander for 18 for a touchdown. Guys, Cedric Alexander had your number. That's the bottom line. And he may not have done a lot when it comes to total statistics. Guys, he ate your lunch up. He owned you. In critical situations, they went to Cedric Alexander and they ate you alive. You didn't do terrible against Diego Pavia compared to what Virginia Tech did last year. You honestly held him in check on the ground. 11 carries for 24 yards. But it's just the inability to get off the field when it matters most that killed you. Killed you. Wouldn't matter because the next drive you would respond. And guess what? Your offensive line early on looked good. I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. There is no way I am looking at this correctly and seeing this offensive line perform at this high rate. You would have a Jordan Dingle 33-yard pass play from Lenoris. We'll get to him in just a minute. Roswell Faison, run for 11. Roswell Faison, welcome to South Carolina. You finally have a breakout game, and you got him the football early. If you're in the chat right now, let me ask you a question. Is Oscar Attaway hurt? Because why does he only have 1 carry for 6 yards? If he's hurt, please somebody tell me. I don't know why he had 1 freaking carry in this game. Makes no sense. 0. Where the hell was he? Did he just freaking disappear or something? I don't get it, man. I don't. I mean, even if he wasn't that good today, I mean, come on. Feed him the football at least. I know that Roswell Faison was your primary guy, but I mean, still. Give him some touches. You got to mix it up in the game, man. Lenore Sellers would run for 8. Lenore Sellers run for 1. Roswell Faison runs for a first down on 3rd and 1. Lenore Sellers to Nick Harbor for 13 for a first down. Roswell Faison run for 7 for a touchdown. You'd force the 3 and out. You play field position. You're in pretty good field position at your own 43. You start off with a great freaking drive. Boom. Pass to Nick Harbor. First down. You're at the South Carolina. You go to the Vandy 31. You're driving down the field. Really, really good drive right now. And I think if you would have scored on this drive, you would have basically been able to put the game away. And because I thought after you got you forced the 3 and out, guys, let's just be honest with each other. That place was rocking. That place was rocking, man. You finally get a big play, and then you turn the frickin' football over. You're inside the red zone, guys. What was the one thing that killed you last year? Red zone inefficiency. Get it out to Oscar Attaway out of the backfield. It's intercepted by, I'm trying to find out who it was. It was a big boy, by the way. It might have been, I think I know who it might have been, to be honest with you. Zaylen Wood, the 6', 280-pound grad transfer. The middle of the defensive line. You threw it straight to him. That was a bad play from him. If you float that, you throw a float pass, you threw it a little bit higher, that's 6. Diego, doesn't matter because you would be able to capitalize off of it. You force really a 6 and out, to be honest with you. You bend but don't break. You force a punt. Again, you get the football right back, but you're inside your own 20. Field position mattered in this game. You lost the field position battle last week. You did it again. Lenore Sellers throw to Brady Hunt. You have an illegal substitution. Guys, these pre-snap penalties have got to get fixed. You are too talented of a team to be having this bull crap. That is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand why you have these issues continuing. You are an experienced team. Why does this continue to happen? It's a joke, man. I mean, what a freaking joke. This is ridiculous. Where did it go? Guys, we got the call-in line right away open, by the way. So y'all can call in whenever. I'm literally just going through the play-by-play. Y'all probably watched the full game. Roswell Faze on run for 2. Lenore Sellers pass complete to Nick Harbor for 17. You get a first down. This is when things started to get really bad. Lenore Sellers stacked by Nick Rinaldi for a loss of 8. Lenore Sellers is then sacked. He fumbles the football, but he's recovered it. Now it's 3rd and 33. Guys, your offensive line stinks. And I have no freaking excuse for it. There should be no excuse. Roswell Faison puts you in a good field position. And then Vandy would go down the field. They would convert a 3rd and 6, a 3rd and 9, and then a 3rd and goal. In that drive, you would 3rd and 6 to James L. Lassiter down to midfield. Then Diego Pavia would fumble the football. You can't fall on it. You'd have a false start, 2nd and 14. 3rd and 9, Trey Richardson, and plus there's a roughing the passer. That was the kind of game that it was, guys. They would have a big play, and then more would be tacked on because of these little stupid penalties. And by the way, That wasn't roughing the passer. That was a BS call. These referees were so ticky-tacky with these calls all day. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Richie Hoskins, run for 15. Trey Richardson, run for 4. Cedric Alexander, run for a loss of 1. Diego Pavi on the wheel, not necessarily a wheel route, dump out pass to Junior Sherrill, 5 yards, touchdown, 14-7. But here comes South Carolina. Lenore Sellers, first pass is complete to Razul Faison for 1. South Carolina has a first down. Lenore goes down. So this was just a weird series of events because you allowed time for them to check out Lenoris, evaluate him, get him on the sideline, put Luke Doty into the game, and then the referees decide, oh, we're gonna look at this and see if it was a freaking whatchamacallit, a target. That was a weird series, which it was. It was. But I want to go back and say this. Do I think that the game was lost whenever you lost Lenore Sellers? Not really. Did it play a role? Yes. I think it did. Does it matter though? Not really. But we do hope Lenoris is good. That's the number one thing I'm looking forward to hearing is his status. Was he in concussion protocol? Guys, if you're in the chat, what was he in concussion protocol? Because that was a hell of a hit, or was it because it looked like about what Jaden Daniels had 2 years ago whenever he had his jaw messed up. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. If you guys know, please, please, please let me know. So, anyways, Luke Doty goes in. This is where I think you should have relied on the run game. You had success early on. Now I think you could have stuck with Razul Faison throughout the rest of this game, but you didn't. You tried to get cute, and you tried to make Luke Doty into something that he's not. Razul Faison, run for 6 to the 50. You have a false start. Jordan Dingle. Again, pre-snap penalties are killing you yet again. Luke Doty runs for 10, first down. Luke Doty pass to Razul Faison. Luke Doty complete to Nick Harbor. You have a pretty good drive. And you have another false start. This time it's on Boaz Stanley. Luke Doty pass incomplete to Brian Rowe. Incomplete to Brian Rowe. And then Mason Love misses a 53-yarder. Why are we even lining him? Why are we lining Mason Love out there from 53? You knew he couldn't hit from 50 because he tried it last week and missed horribly. Why are we toting him out there from 50 freaking 3? But you go into the half only down 14-7, which it could have been more from how you played. If we're being honest. Missed field goals are going to get you beat. They're just as bad as a turnover. And by the way, you had 3 turnovers in this football game. That's not even including the turnovers on down. We'll get to those in a minute. But you go into the half, you're only down 7. You start to get a little bit of momentum. But you have to go to 3 and out. You know what Vandy does? Cedric, they run the freaking football. Cedric Alexander, run for 15. Caleb Barrett, run for 11. Diego Pavia to Martell Hyde for 5. James L. Lassiter, run for 44, touchdown. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The front four, you got pushed around tonight. Y'all look like hammered dog S. Next possession. You have a Luke Doty pass that's complete to Razul Faison. Oscar Attaway finally gets into the game. I understand that Razul Faison is not that great. Why are you not getting him involved into your offense? You have a big play to Donovan Murph for 24 that gets you to midfield. You complete one to Brian Rowe. You run for 4. And then Razul Faison gets destroyed in the backfield. Wouldn't matter because your defense finally steps up in the second half. They start having a pretty good drive. You know what they did? They convert a 4th and 2. They convert a 3rd and 1. They convert a 3rd and 21. 3rd and 8. Boom. Big interception from Justin Orkanowo, which I was waiting for him to finally get involved in this offense. It's about time, man. It's about time that you finally got him involved in the game. The very next, and you start the fourth quarter. Get a first down. You get a Luke Doty run. Jordan Dingle gets a first down. Razul Faison run for 3. Razul Faison run for 9. Razul Faison run for 3. Where the hell? Wait, why did you go away from Razul Faison, who's getting yards? You know what you do the next 3 plays? Incomplete to Jordan Dingle. Luke Doty run for 4. You try to get cute and try to throw a screen out to Jordan Dingle, and it gets blown up. Ball game. That essentially, this was your next 4, ready for the next 4 drives. I promise you, you're going to love it. Vandy, you'd hold them to a field goal. It's 24-7. Really, you lost the football game after you turned it over on downs. Then you have another pretty okay drive. Luke Doty pass complete to Donovan Murph for a 10 for a first down. Luke Doty run to 10 at the 90, gets you to the 37 for a first down. Try to get cute. Brian Rowe. Then the offensive line completely breaks down. You get sacked for a loss of 18, and Miles Capers returns it. You know what they do then? You want to know what they would do then? You would have an unsportsmanlike conduct. Was it on Nick Barrett or was that on Dylan Stewart? Because I think they ejected him from the game, which was stupid. What the hell did either of them? Help me out in the comments. Was it Nick Barrett that got ejected or was it Dylan Stewart that got ejected? I saw it was one of the two. Cedric, you get it at the South Carolina 37, by the way. Then the unsportsmanlike puts you inside, basically in the red zone. Richie Hoskins to the 14 for a first down. Cedric Alexander run for 2. Cedric Alexander run for 2. Touchdown. You know what happens to the very next play? Dylan. Why the hell did Dylan get ejected? What did he do? Somebody please explain this to me. The next freaking drive. Luke Doty pass complete to Vandravius Jacobs. First down. Complete to Isaiah Augusta, who fumbles the freaking football. Jordan Matthews recovers it. They punt the football, and then your last drive to cap it off. Luke Doty passed to Vandravius Jacobs, passed to Mazeo Bennett, combined for 31. Luke Doty passed for run for 7. Luke Doty passed to Jared Brown for 8. Mazeo Bennett for 9. You had 2 straight incompletions, and then you turn it over on downs again. Your last 4 drives went like this. Are you ready? In the fourth quarter alone, turnover on downs, fumble, interception. He threw a punch at him? What the hell is his problem? What? Oh, my God. This is ridiculous. Really, the second half, punt, turnover on downs, fumble, turnover on downs. It was either that or a pick. Offensively, you are broken. Mike Shula is a joke. Guys, I cannot continue to try and defend DA. I can't try and defend him anymore, guys. I can't. I'm done. That was ridiculous. How bad this freaking thing was. How bad today was in total. The most embarrassing part of this game is that it's not the 16 straight games that you've beaten Vanderbilt that snap right now. I don't care about that. It's the fact that you knew what they were going to do offensively, and you had no answer for it. Because you kept shooting yourself in the freaking foot. That's ridiculous. If we're really counting everything, and when it's all said and done, South Carolina had 7 freaking turnovers. Missed field goals, 2 fumbles, and 2 interceptions. And then the 2 turnover on downs. What a joke. What a freaking joke, dude. All right, let's get to some of these comments. If you want your comment read for sure, make sure you guys send in your super chats. We greatly appreciate that. Gamecock Kevin on Twitter says Shula needs to go. That's what happens when you get lazy in off season. Jeff Gullidge says offense looks like complete dog shit. Find a good OC. I can't blame you, dude. You have, and the offense, guys, here's the one thing that I have a gripe about. And we can talk about how, Lenoris wasn't in the game. He was hurt. That ship don't sail with me. It doesn't. It doesn't. And in my opinion, I could care less that Lenoris got hurt in this game. It wasn't going to change the fact that you were still irrelevant on offense. God willing that it's not something serious, because if you lose Lenoris, the way that this offense rolled, it's going to be a long freaking year. Timmy Pierce, embarrassing. Jeff Cannon, this season is cooked. Can't get to game 3 with no improvement. Shows a lack of ability to coach. Bottom line, we got out coached, became the super soft beamer, will not hold coaches accountable or make changes to his staff. Loyalty has become a very big issue when it comes to Shane. And I can't hate him for it. But I am going to be real with you and say that you got lazy in the offseason. You did. You go out and you promote a coach in Mike Shula who has basically wanted to make Lenora Sellers more of a thrower instead of what you had already. If I'm Shane Beamer, I would have started paying Dowell Loggins a hell of a lot of money for him to stay in South Carolina. Or I would have gone out and actually gotten an offensive coordinator in that case. That's the bottom line, guys. It's a joke. It's a joke. Oh, Dusty Blackwell. Vandy's OC was one step ahead all night. Tim Beck is look, the thing about Tim Beck that I like is that he is a system coach. When you get a quarterback that fits his system properly, he's going to make you pay. And what did we talk about on Tuesday? Is that Vanderbilt was going to play the time of possession game. You know what their scoring drives and even most of their drives from the first drive on, 5 minutes, 22 seconds, 4:13, 5:59, 6:52, 3:48. It's only a few, man. That's the bottom line. That's it. That's the bottom line, guys. How you allowing them to convert on 3rd and 26? Yeah, that was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Defensively, you got soft. I don't know what the hell happened between today today and last week is beyond me. But you better stop. You better go find your dudes. They went 5 of 7 on 3rd down in the first half. You couldn't get off the field to save your freaking life. Sherrick Dovan says, why is Shula even coaching anymore? Dude has been calling the same up-the-gut plays since over a decade ago. I hate him. Hate is a very strong word, but I will say this. And he just said this. Beamer needs to fire Shula so bad. Why did we not pay Loggins? Clearly his calls worked and it would have been continuity. So stupid. Dowell Loggins is the best offensive coordinator that you've had in the Beamer era. You know, and that's saying something, knowing how mediocre you were at times. But you helped Lenoris be Lenoris. Mike Shula is wanting him to play is wanting him to be a pocket passer. I don't get it. I don't get it. We'll get to that one. Darian Moss is coming in a minute. Bradham Dantzler says, worst game I think I've seen in 20 years. That was embarrassing, I will say. At what point do we see this is the type of offense Beamer wants to run? His last 3 OCs have been NFL guys with zero creativity. Dowell is a little bit better, but not much. Runs into stacked boxes, no downfield passing game, and very little perimeter plays besides a dump off to a tight end. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not going to deny that you're wrong. Sports Talk with Austin, by the way, says Vanderbilt looks dangerous. Nice logo, by the way, Austin. You're not wrong, Darian. One of the things that we talked about was that there was no creativity. And if you guys are diehard loyal listeners to us here at South Carolina Live with the Voice of College Football, you know that pretty often we talked about how important this game was for South Carolina. This was going to probably make or break your season. We talked about this over and over and over. Let's take this phone call. You're on the phone with Lucas Hill. This is the South Carolina Live postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
Austin Williams from Fort Compton, Austin. Lucas, how are you doing tonight?
I could be better, Austin. How are you tonight?
Oh, I guess pretty good on my end. Louisville had a bye week and, of course, the 2 thrilling games. But
what'd you think of the game, Austin?
Maybe I thought I'd call in to see if I could cheer you up, give you something to look forward to.
What do I have to look forward to?
You still got to think, though. You still got a whole season ahead of you, Lucas. You still got Alabama coming to town. I know they looked pretty good today, but do we not remember what South Carolina did to them last year? They were a field goal away from winning.
But you also had a different offensive coordinator in the game, and you also had a somewhat more consistent offensive line. But continue on.
Yes, and that's very true, too. But I just don't like to overreact to anything. Yes, they look bad tonight. I agree with you 100%. Everything you all said to this point, absolutely. But we also have to look at it, too, as it's one game. Teams are allowed to have the bad nights. And I know they've looked inconsistent so far, but still early in the season, Lucas. And I do believe South Carolina will get it together. I really do. They have way too much talent on defense just to let it go to waste. And I believe in Shane Beamer still. I don't know how you feel right about now, but I think he can get it together.
Oh, I trust me. I believe in Coach Beamer. What I don't believe in is the in-staff hiring that he's had. This is the same issue that LSU had last year. When you get lazy in the offseason and you hire from within, you have issues. Mike Shula should not be an offensive coordinator at the collegiate level. And if you've really seen him call plays, go look at what the last 3 games have looked like today and all of last year, or the last 2 games in total. And everybody's going to point to, well, this started really at the bowl game. Guys, you got to realize the bowl game doesn't really translate to what happened this year. Sure, it could, but I'm not even focused on that. I'm focused on the first 3 games of the year. Right now, you look like ass water offensively.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing, too, and I understand where you're coming from. Like, I have been paying attention to Mr. Mike Shula, and I'll agree with you. He looked incompetent tonight, and in the first couple games, too. But I also think it has to do with the schemes of the other coaches, too. Clark Lee, give him some credit. The way he was able to put the defensive game plan together, Lucas, I think had a big part in it tonight, in my opinion. Like, he put a pretty good defensive game plan together. Now, that being said, Nick Harper should, that first drive, South Carolina looked good. I think we all can agree to that. And then Clark Lee's like, okay, I've had enough of that. You know what? We're just going to start stacking the box and make you throw it. And then Morris gets hurt, which, some people may say that's the reason why South Carolina lost, which I don't like to use those excuses because Vandy looked like they were going to win regardless. But it just seems like, to me, they're almost scared to pass, in my opinion.
I don't know, bro. I mean, there's just so many freaking questions that you have to answer offensively. And I think this week, Shane Beamer has to start asking some tough questions. As in, what are we going to do offensively to turn this thing around? Darian Moss says it's Vandy. I know. This is the new Vandy. But you got exposed. All of the flaws that you had the first 2 weeks of the season, you got away with because you played inferior teams. You played not that great competition. Guess what? Today was different. And we can say that it was Vanderbilt. And we can say, oh, it's just Vanderbilt. We should, and Darian Moss, he says we should be able to roll out of bed and beat Vandy. You think they do. But you have gotten lazy in recruiting. You have gotten lazy when it comes to the portal. You haven't been able to spend the money. You better go get dudes in the offseason, and you better be willing to spend money, God willing, that this 26 class stays together and you're able to put it together. I don't know. I don't know, man. There's just too many moving pieces for me to fully evaluate what's going to happen in the next few years.
And what I do want to say, too, is, Lucas, I know the offense was back, but let's not forget about the defense. They get some of this blame pie, too. I know we all have eyes and we've seen it, but the defense tonight, very undisciplined. Get stupid penalties, pushing people, and doing all that crazy crap. That is a lack of coaching right there, in my opinion. If I'm Shane Beamer, I'm making those guys run laps, and then I'm making them do wind sprints, because that's stupid. You should not be doing that, number one. And number two, it costs your team the game because, like you said, the 3rd and 26, or 3rd and 33, excuse me, how do you give that up? Like, how?
They didn't give up a 3rd and the 3rd and 26 is what they gave up. They got into a 3rd and 33 offensively, but they got 17 back out of it. I'm talking offensively. Defensively, yeah, I mean, you're right. But, I mean, the undisciplined stuff came later in the game because you're getting your ass whipped. But I do understand what you're getting. I do get what you're getting at, but defensive, I mean, I didn't say that all the blame had to go to the offense. No, I do think that offensively, you obviously have your struggles. Defensively, man, you got popped in the mouth. You couldn't get off the field to save your life. You were 5 of 7 on 3rd down conversions you gave up to Vandy on that entire first half. And yeah, I know they had 1 3rd down convert. They were 1 of 5 in the second half, but early drives killed you. Man, killed you.
Well, and that's the thing too, Lucas. If you look at the game, a lot of them was missed tackling. There was 2 or 3 missed tackles just on that first drive alone. It was the theme of the night. And this is the thing with Vandy. If they score first and they get confidence, they're a dangerous team to play. Vandy, you have to get them down and get them down quick. You have to basically go up 2 scores on them and basically take the life out of them. Because you saw after they scored first how that crowd was kind of quiet and Vandy's confidence just rose and rose, and then the turnovers came. Vandy, once they've seen the defense miss the tackles and stuff, they kind of got into that mojo, and it hurt South Carolina because they're like, man, we can't tackle nobody right now.
It's a lot that you got to work on, dude. I think tackling has been a big issue for the first 2 weeks of the season, man. Austin, I appreciate the phone call, man. Have a great rest of the week and have a good and safe weekend.
You too, Lucas.
843-350-2534. Looking at some more comments. Chase Hopkins needs to let sellers be sellers and not force them to stay in the pocket. Yeah, I mean, by the way, hey, do y'all have anything in regards to how Shane Beamer, or not Shane Beamer, but how Lenoris is? Do we know if he went into concussion protocol? Because I haven't heard a whole lot. I haven't even checked Twitter really a whole lot since I booted up the stream. Halo Master 96. We have no quarterback, no OC, offensive line, no OC. Been watching this shit show for over 6 decades. Yeah. I mean, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Darian Moss, defense got manhandled by Vandy. Once again, Vandy. We're going to touch on Vandy a lot. Travis Maddox, glad he touched on tackling because it seemed to me that the cornerback was more or less avoiding tackling at all. Yeah, you coming up into these run support, you have not been able to wrap up to save your life. That's what Cedric Alexander did majority of the time. When he got out into space, he was able to slip away from a couple tackles, and he was able to make you pay. That's ultimately what happened at the end of it all. And when we go back and we look at this film, guys, one of the number one things I said when it comes to keys to game, to victory, which we do every single week whenever we get to game day, is that you had to basically control the time of possession. You failed to do that. Number two, you had to be able to control the controllables, which is improve offensive line play. You didn't. This is your identity right now. You are a team that cannot get consistent on offense, that cannot generate momentum, that cannot generate points when it matters most. And that's the bottom line, guys. This is who you are. This is who you are and will continue to be until you change something. Personnel-wise, guys, you don't have the dudes up front. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. When this offseason comes for South Carolina, the number one thing you have to hit on is going into the portal and getting dudes. Go get coaches that can be effective for you. Get an offensive coordinator that isn't stuck in the frickin' Stone Age. You need help at DB. You need help at offensive line. You need more depth at receiver. By the way, can one of y'all answer me this? Why the hell was Nick Harbor on the sidelines the entire fourth quarter? Why? Thank you, Meso Johns, for bringing this up, because now Miles Norwood got picked on a lot. He has been picked on all this season. Every team that has stepped on the field, every offense has gone his way. That's what we have seen, guys, and that's where we're going to continue to see if things do not change. Judge Collier, you please get healthy. God bless him. Please get healthy. Please get healthy. My bad. I screwed this up. Uh-oh. I think I switched this over to Voice of College Football Florida by accident. I did not mean to. That's my fault, ladies and gentlemen. It's about like how this freaking game went. Just a S show all the way. Since Beamer's first game as head coach, seems like every game we have lost, we are here talking about OC, ref calls, silly penalties, and mixed tackles. It's a problem we can't seem to fix. Yeah, I mean, inconsistency, dude. That's really all I can say about something like this. 1 second. I do apologize. We've been having some technical difficulties with StreamYard. Do y'all have me okay? For those of y'all that are still watching us, y'all give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys are still active and you're still with us. If we're good and if we are back on the air. Let me go get my charger, dude. Okay, thank you. Meso Johns also says, if Doty is our quarterback, we are in trouble. Love the guy for the locker room, but he's not an SEC quarterback. Aaron Cutter better be ready to play. Sellers was concussed. Okay. I figured that was the case. because I saw him going through concussion protocol. I wasn't sure that it was that for sure. But again, we appreciate that. You're probably going to have to start him next week, which gives me a lot of concern. Because right now, I don't. You got to finish drives. You were not able to do that at all. Even with Doty on the field, man, you started to see a little bit of drives that were put together pretty effectively at points. But you have got to get your playmaker back on the field. That's the bottom line. And by the way, guys, Diego Pavia promised Theo Vaughn a date with his mom. So now by the way, what is also even more embarrassing is the fact that you had Theo Vaughn, you had I Show Speed on the sidelines in practice. They talked. They made themselves viral. And they went in there and whipped your ass. They went into Williams-Brice and kicked you square in the nuts. That's the bottom line. You know, I don't have much to really say when it comes to that. Pavia had J.R. Johnson confused the whole game. J.R. was in the wrong position and guessed wrong on all the options. We needed a big game from him, and he was not existent. J.R. had a bad game, dude. J.R. had a really bad game. That's the bottom line. What Tim Beck did with the RPO game was terrific. I'll give Tim Beck all the credit in the world for it. Because he made Clayton White scratch his freaking head. That's the bottom line, guys. We got beat filling run gaps all night for sure. Yeah. You gave up a lot of big plays. And you couldn't fill the freaking gap to save your life. Linebacker help. Yes, you need linebacker help. You need DB help. You need receiver help. Quite honestly, you need running back help. I thought when you got Isaiah Augusta from the portal, I thought you were going to be able to do something with him. Guys, he's not been able to get on the field for the first 3 games of the season up until today. And he was not effective because he fumbled the freaking football. It's a joke, man. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say. Why did Nick Harbor only have 4 catches? He has 4 catches for 66 yards, and you're not going back to him? You got to be kidding me, dude. That is ridiculous. So, by the way, you know what sucks even worse? You just lost Dylan Stewart for the first half of next week's game because he wants to throw a freaking punch at Diego Pavia. Are we this undisciplined of a program? That is ridiculous. And it disgusts me to have to see that. There's about 1,300 of you guys up in here. Y'all do me a favor. We're going to be going on for another 5 minutes or so. I'll give my final thoughts. We'll wrap this thing up. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all tell about 10 Gamecock fans that we're still live. Y'all hit the repost button. Share to your friend groups, by the way. Got to throw Nick at least 2 jump balls a game. Spurrier would do it with Alshon Jeffrey. You need some of that fun and gun offense back in South Carolina. My question is, who are you going to get? That's the bottom line. Who do you get? you gotta go into the deep, and you gotta go into your bag and go pull out some freaking money to go pay for some coaches. I really don't have anything else other than that to say about this one, because this was a joke. Flat out joke. You knew what was coming, dude. You knew what was coming today. That ain't on anyone else but you. It's bottom line, man. We look like garbage today. All right. Y'all have a great rest of the night. I got to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got to hear it from the guys at work. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all don't stress. Y'all have a great rest of the night. We will see you guys all on Tuesday for South Carolina Live. Y'all have a great rest of the night. Y'all be safe, man.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.